This conference will now be recorded.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Well, good evening. Thanks for attending. Tonight is the July 22nd meeting of the Richland City Council. We have a quorum and all members are present. So let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item is the approval of the agenda. Any changes, Tony? None? Anybody else?
I just wanted to move that item 3 under new business up to the street maintenance report section, if we could, even though Eric isn't here.
Move it to where?
To the street report.
Oh, okay. Okay, any other changes? We have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Consent agenda items.
I've got a question on the page 3 of the budget for this month. There was,
What are you talking about?
because the consent agenda is the budget.
There's no financials on the consent agenda.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just these 5 items. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed. Public comments. Okay. Requests and presentations, the event center.
You guys.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Ethan Hagan. If you guys didn't know who I am, this is my wife, Angel. I'm from New Richland. My parents are Ann and Randy Hagan. Been in New Richland, graduated New Richland High School. We now both currently live in Waseca. We're both currently members of the First Congregational Church here in New Richland. As you all know, the church has since closed its doors and is now closed for the congregation as well. Being that I was a congregation member, I was asked if I would like to purchase the church from the church. That was a great honor to me. Since my whole family has gone to that church, I went to that church as a young kid, got confirmed in that church. A lot of history and a lot of good things with it.
Our kids were
Yeah. So just about every which way we could think of to try and make it work. Tony, did you get that email at all?
Not yet.
We just kind of put together a website.
What is the website?
It's the event center website.
I can give it to you longhand if you want to type it
Yep.
in. HTTPS:/ the event or the steeple event center.com. Oh, and then you'll have to go behind.com
Yeah, it's not live yet. That's why it's
and then
like that.
do the dash steeple dash. Perfect.
This
Dash
just like
people.
this?
Yep, dash event dash center.
Are you spelling it all right or no? Or there needs to be another?
There may be a dash.
There we go.
Got it. Perfect.
There we go.
Okay, so here's our proposed idea on what to do with the church as it is. Our main focus is just to keep the life of this church going. I think I can speak for just about every committee member with the church board. They would like to see the church preserved. They don't want to see, anything happen to it or have it misused for any other reason. So this is what we have in mind of doing with it. Here's the Steeple Event Center, open to weddings, business meetings, all sorts of different things.
Family reunion.
family reunions, funerals, basically any sort of public event that you'd want, any sort of community event.
We talked about live music, you know, having some bands there, Jody. Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
anything, you know, and everything that the community can use, you know, any ideas we're open to. We just don't want it demolished, you know, it's the oldest church in town, 1822 it was built and moved, and, you know, like he said, it's a big part of his family and my family too, and we'd like our kids to, you know, be able to grow up there. We even talked about having possibly even a church service there once in a while, if we can find a pastor that's willing to do that, you know.
But the main idea is to keep this church as is, restore it to what it should be. So at this point, we're basically here just looking for the blessing of the city council board. You know, looking for your support in this business venture. Some things right away that we're gonna run into is getting this building up to code.
Yeah.
It's been grandfathered in for years and years and years, so, we have contractors, we have architects, we're getting estimates on, you know, what we'll have to do to get this building basically first up to code. And then we can talk about, you know, what we're gonna do renovation wise inside the church, this, that, and the other.
There's some water damage, you know, things like that that we're trying to take care of, and
Yeah.
we just want it to look nicer than it kind of does inside. You can go to the gallery
Yeah.
button, hopefully it works. Like I said, I just did this last night. So, and scroll down a little bit, a little further. Right there. So that's the inside of the sanctuary. And then if you go down just a little bit more, that's the basement. We're thinking, you know, dances, things like that would be fun, you know, after the wedding, if they didn't want it all in the sanctuary area, if it didn't all fit up there. You know, we're just trying to come up with ways to preserve it and make it a fun place for everybody to go. You know,
Plan on using the kitchen?
we are not gonna use the kitchen other than for, you know, catering coming in and bringing in the food that's already made.
That probably
We don't
needs
want,
brought up to code as well.
Exactly,
Sure.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and we're doing everything in our power to basically get it up to code, you know, as cheaply as possible. You know, we're dealing with the county inspectors, state inspectors, fire marshals, this, that, and the other. You know, looking at it, it looks like it could be done one of two different ways. Our architect thought that maybe it wouldn't have to be full-blown commercial. It might be able to still fall within underneath the church because we're not really selling anything. You'd just be renting the space. We'd have to see on how that goes.
We think that's a long shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would help with
Yeah.
property taxes and things like that.
Otherwise, beyond renovations, just to get it up to code, we're looking at the assessed property tax value right now. The value it's at right now is $563,000. If we were to start a business, you'd probably be looking at, you know, $10,000 a year just in property taxes. So we've been again talking with some people, trying to figure out how we could possibly get that reassessed, to get that a little bit lower, to be able to run a business out of it and be able to keep it alive. Angel's been doing a lot with grant work, looking at, you know,
Some grants.
small business grants and things like that that can help us along the way. But we just really wanted to get out all the information in front of you guys, so you can kind of know, you know, obviously where the church is at now, what our plan is, what we'd like to see done to it.
See if you guys have any ideas, if you guys know of any, you know, small business grants through the city or programs that we could look into.
Yeah.
That would be helpful too.
Just trying to keep the church, the spirit of the church alive, and, you know, just be with weddings and community events and just being a church without really being a church, you know.
I would definitely recommend you need to come to the EDA meeting and talk this over with the EDA for sure. We definitely have some opportunities that we could potentially assist you with. I know we just got awarded a grant with the state, and we're actually looking for a project. We don't have a project right now, so this could potentially fit into that.
Awesome.
I don't know what the EDA is gonna eventually choose to do with that. The other thing is, once you kind of have a plan in place, then I would encourage you to reach out to me so that we can schedule some time with planning and zoning to figure out
Okay,
what we need to do.
okay.
It's kind of tough to go into a planning and zoning meeting with not really knowing what you guys want to do, because really can't ask planning and zoning to change stuff for maybe this, maybe that. We kind of got to have sort of a plan in place to address those things. So, definitely, before we get to that point, if you kind of have 2 or 3 ideas of ways you want to go, if you want to send that to me, I can definitely bounce those off what I know as far as planning and zoning regs are, and kind of tell you what you can and can't do and what you could look for variances.
Okay.
At least that would kind of give you a ballpark idea of what you could ask these guys to waive or to vary,
Okay.
or what you would actually need to change.
Okay.
So that maybe give you an idea of where you need to focus somewhat. But I think starting with the EDA, I think, and looking in that direction, maybe they've got bouncing stuff off of them, and then trying to help you narrow down that focus, and then I think we can probably help you make some moves.
Okay, awesome.
Unless you guys have some other comments.
No?
Any questions from you?
Yeah, is there some historical significance to that you can
Definitely,
reach
yeah.
out for?
Yes, I have talked with all the board members of the church, and we're gonna do a memorial wall inside of the building.
Is there some historical grant
Oh,
significance maybe that you could take advantage
that
of?
would be a good
Or it's an
I would
the
guess
oldest church in
Matt would be a good
town.
contact
Right.
for that, do you think? Matt Harrington might be a good contact for that information.
absolutely.
But I think this is a good start, just to keep the channels open and try to plan, but I think, just our initial talks that we've had, I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it's great for the community, so.
You know, back in the 60s, I'm kind of telling you how old I was, but when one of my esteemed colleagues sitting in the back row there, when we were in high school, there was the creamery in town here. And students, we painted it, we cleaned it to turn it into a youth center. And it worked for a while. And then I think after we left, it kind of just fell by the wayside. And that's when the hangout center in town was primarily the bowling alley, which no longer exists. So I think this would be a great idea. And I have historical connection to that church. My grandparents went to church there. So I've been in that church a lot of times, and it is a beautiful building. So I think we should do whatever. I don't know if we need a motion just to support them or just.
I don't think so, I think it's just,
Yeah.
But the next EDA meeting, so you put it on your calendar, would be August 26th. And I believe we may even have a representative from the county come in that night potentially too, so it would be a great one for you guys to attend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kids need a place to go, which we really don't have.
Yes,
I know, we've talked about some kind of a kids' night even,
I've even brought
It's
up,
ultimately gonna be mostly wedding
yes,
events.
Yeah, and I would suggest after you get it up and going or all the things are done, you get kids to be a part of your board or to be able to give input so that, because they'll have great ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Anybody?
you.
guys.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Bet.
Great. Okay. No public hearing, ordinances and resolution 2415.
This is just a resolution appointing election judges for the primary and general election.
Okay. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Department reports. Bob, Care Center?
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Beautiful day in July. Care Center report, as you see on there, in June, our average census dropped a little bit, 36.4. I had written on there Friday, or Thursday, that our current census was 38. However, today we are at 40. Tipped the big 4-0.
Good.
By Friday, I'm looking for 43. So we're, the admission process changes that we're making have worked well. In June, we had 33 referrals, accepted 15, admitted 9. Those that didn't come that we did accept either went somewhere else or passed away. That's kind of the way our business works. We did deny 18. We discharged 9. 4 went home, 4 passed away, and 1 went to the hospital. Of the 18 that we denied, many of them were not typical nursing home residents. Many of them were younger, many of them had drug or alcohol problems, history of violence, that type of thing. The financials for the month are, I guess we go down to the resident days there. January through March, we had 3,140 resident days. April through June, we had 3,441. That helps our financials a lot, a great deal. Sadly, however, as you see, total operating income for the month was $5,192. We had a decrease in census and low Medicare numbers. Medicare is obviously our best payer ever. But the decrease in census, we had people that came in under hospice and they might have only been there a few days before they passed away. That turnover, that pulls the number average down. So that was very difficult to deal with. Use of agency staff, as you can see there, in May, we had about $118,000 in agency staffing alone. In June, it was reduced to $94,000. As you see, I figure our cost for those agency staff members at even if they were hours, if they were hours, it would be 60% of that $118,000, so $71,000 is still what it cost us. But the difference in that money is the amount of money that people don't understand doesn't go to the person that's working. It goes to the business that just recruits them and pushes them. So that's lost money in our book. So very difficult to work with. The number of new applicants is kind of slowed down now since the end of May, beginning of June. We are creating a recruitment and retention plan to improve our situation, which is going to be part of our new facility assessment that Center for Medicare and Medicaid is pushing for all facilities to have. It's become as part of the new rules and regulations that we deal with. That will be something that the surveyors can look at when they come in, and hopefully make our life a little bit easier having it laid out on paper. You can see openings there again, certified nurse aides, full part-time, positions, days, evenings, overnights, and every other weekend. RNs, LPNs, the same thing. I do have 3 RNs coming from the WIN program, which is an international nurses program. They will come from the Philippines. Then out of the 9 that I have reviewed, I think all but 1 or 2 have families that at some point in the next year or 2, they will bring here as well to live in our community. And most of these nurses have worked in many countries in Asia, Europe, Saudi Arabia is a place that a lot of them go, and volunteer work in Africa. So they have got a wealth of knowledge. They're trained to be RNs in the American way. So it's not like you're dealing with, I ran into a gentleman one time and he was a CNA. He was going through the CNA class and he was about 40 years old. And I look at him and says, "You're a smart guy. So what how did you become a CNA? And he says, in my home country, he says, I'm a doctor. Where's that? In Nepal, he was an actual mountain doctor. And he says, the United States doesn't accept any of my credits in my college. So he says, I have to start all over again. And I said, well, how was the CNA class going? Well, it wasn't easy. I thought, wow, the doctor tells me it's not easy. That's not a good thing. So kudos to all the people who are CNAs. And other news, we've got a family picnic planned for Friday, August 2nd. We have music by Todd Updahl at 3 o'clock hopefully in the parking lot if the weather's nice. And a meal at 5 o'clock indoors. All city council members are invited. Please RSVP to the nursing home so we can get a tally, get everything set up for you. We're gonna have a meal served by Red Leaf Cafe. I think we've got dessert by Nancy's. And I think that's about it. The silent auction, I have news about that. We are still going to have the silent auction. The money to raise a new flagpole kit has been covered by the Waseca and the Richland Legion Halls. And I thank them very much for that. We will use that money in another way.
I'll try to get that flagpole down there this week.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
it'll come with a flag too.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Do you have any questions, concerns?
Thank you, Bob. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you all.
People's Service Report.
Bob.
Shell?
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
The month of June was very, very busy. We had, altogether, I had 17 million gallons and an extra 1.4 million gallons that I pumped out of 30. So that topped like last year.
Is that because of all the rain?
Huh?
Is that because of all the rain?
Yeah, I had 13 inches, I think, for the month of June. Yeah, we're way up there. Empire is in town. They are televising and cleaning the northwest side of town. We have found some broken pipes and things, some sump pumps. Yeah, they're definitely getting after it. It's been a while since they've been cleaned. So hopefully I'll have more news. They should be done with all that by the end of the week. And I did there is a sheet there, I don't know if you passed it or not. From Empire, going to the creek. It goes from Birch all the way to the plant, but it runs along the creek. So there's an issue getting down there. So, they'd have to get, an easement reel, which is gonna cost some money. You know, it's a skid loader with the reel, and then they drag the reel all the way down to the creek. You can't get the back down there, because it's the hayfield.
Same thing.
So that's one of the quotes on that. It's the big one. Do you need one on?
No, so Shell and I were talking, so that quote is like $16,000.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really wet back there, and we just don't think that this is the right time to do that project, because we're worried that if they try to do it, they're probably gonna get stuck.
Yeah, and we don't have equipment. to do
And
it.
we don't really have it in the budget to take care of
Yeah.
that, because we're already spending that in the cleaning this year already. The other quote, the 2020, we believe that probably should be handled while they're in town.
That is a line that is full of roots, and we tried already. We cambered it ourselves and tried jetting them out. It's too thick. So it's right on the corner of Division and Cedar. So that whole corner fills up, and then the pavement just slowly wasting away
Yep.
from it. So, if they could do it while they're here in town, they could do it.
And it saved us mobilization to get them back.
We wouldn't get charged for that part of it.
But this other one, we could budget, say like next year when they come do the lines, if we need, or.
Or we
part
had
of
a
it.
capital plan for it, we put it in the capital budget
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
And that's like an excessive, like if it took.
He says that's worst case scenario, that's like
Yes.
the absolute most that they would have to, it could be half of that, it could be 3/4 of that, but that's like the absolute. So, but I would like the council to approve that 2020 for Weller Town.
Someone want to make a motion to that?
I move to accept the bid for $2,020 for Empire.
Okay, motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
You want to communicate with that to him?
Yep, I can call him and.
Are they almost done with the?
They're close.
They're close, because they can't get to the creek, so they'll do a few more of those streets from like Cedar and Ash over and then come back down. So it'll be more of the northwest side will be finished.
So when you say they can't get to the cricket just because? of
It's a hayfield,
Got it.
yeah.
Yes, they were supposed to do that whole section, so that
Yeah.
whole section won't get
Right.
done, so they'll just,
So it actually runs, where's this?
They'll replace that part with a different part.
they'll
To
do
get
that,
done.
that linear footage and they'll just put it somewhere else.
Well, just so they can see it, I'm not. You guys don't even have to see it on it. No. But it runs from Birch all the way to wastewater treatment plant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, next year
It's
if
this
it's
yellow section,
dry,
it's this yellow section.
yeah,
right
there
here.
you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
So they won't be doing this section, they'll just take this linear footage and they'll move it over.
Move it to over there, kind of where the blue and the yellow meet.
And then this will just have to be budgeted for at a later time.
Yeah, and maybe, if we do it next year, we'll plan a little bit ahead, see if they can cut hay. We could weed around those and maybe cut around those manholes down there, make it a little bit easier to get in and out of. And hopefully it's dry.
There you go, dry.
And then, if it was last year, they would have been able to zip right down there.
Yeah.
But next year, if we plan ahead and get everybody together on it, I think it would look pretty darn good. So, MRWA will be here, I think, tomorrow. And we are going to camera First Street from Aspen out to the old tile plant. And there's a manhole right in the middle of that street. And it goes straight east, past the backside of the nursing home and to that old tile plant. So see if there's anything leaking. I opened it up the other day and yeah, you could tell where there was about that much water in there. So if it is leaking from the creek, that is one good spot it would come in at. So, and that's a free service. So, you guys pay a yearly to them. So I'm gonna do that one and then go from the creek on Aspen and go south. There's 2 manholes there. Nobody knows what the one is there for. Nobody knows. I don't even know what it does. So they must have added it in later in and so it's right next to the creek. So that could be a good place where water comes in too.
Sure.
So we're gonna do that tomorrow, so we can try to find these spots of where it's coming around.
I do have one other question for them, cleaning the lines, do they recommend how often to have that done?
Every 5 years.
Every time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Our
Minnesota
actually
League of Cities.
insurance actually kind of requires us to do it every 5 years.
Okay.
And that's why we're on that 5-year plan of each
Sure.
section. And then we'll just stick to that same rotation, so they're all getting done, every 5 years, so. They'll definitely, you can tell some of them have never been touched. And it's kind of brutal watching that cutter go through there, trying to cut it off. So it's, you can definitely tell, next time around it'll be way easier for them. So.
A lot of tree roots.
Tree roots, a lot of broken concrete, broken tile. You can tell where people have patched it up. And they would just like lay a cement block in there and then like put some stuff around it. There's some interesting stuff in there. So, but if we can get down to the major ones that are busted, yeah. You know, they're good 10-foot sections over there that are completely busted and off kilter. So, and all the field manholes that are supposed to be there are not there. So we don't know, like on Fourth, when you go look towards the field, here's the line and then it goes up and around like that, where they can't get the camera through there to get to the field, you know, to see if the field's bringing in water. So, and you can't find the manhole, it's non-existent. Unless it's way out there that we don't, you know, maybe there would have been more houses out there at one time,
No.
or gonna be, you know. I mean, that is an
Yeah.
easement, elm, you know, elms.
Yeah, it is.
So it could be way out there, but I have looked and we can't get the camera through there. But Paul Plates might be able to with MRWA's. We did it at the school. Through there.
Okay.
I don't know why
We'll
you
keep
did it.
digging.
Yeah, I'll keep looking for it, but I'll find it.
Okay.
Otherwise, that is about it on that, and all we can do is just keep looking for it, so.
I would like council to approve up to $1,500 for a washer dryer combo for the wastewater plant to take care of all the stuff that she has to deal with out there. I don't even want to go into details. I'd like to just approve.
You don't want the frustration or what?
Well, that'd be nice that I don't have to throw away clothes, so.
Sure.
I move to approve up to $1,500 for a washer dryer combo for the treatment plant.
Okay, motion and a second. Any more questions? All in favor? Motion is approved.
Did that fridge or the thing with refrigeration ever get fixed? You had to buy ice and
Yeah,
whatever.
I got the parts ordered for that, so yeah.
So it is fixed or?
No,
On
not
it.
yet. I'm still
Soon to be,
adding-
okay.
I'm still adding ice.
Okay.
Still adding ice to it, but we're still meeting the permit parameters.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Shell. Do we have a motion to accept her report?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Street and maintenance.
Eric had another thing that he had to take care of, so he wasn't available tonight, but really not much. There was a little issue with the sidewalk right by the post office there, so long story short, the catch basin, there was a little dirt underneath that was falling out, so they went down and took care of that and patched that all up, and John Hallpeter put some new concrete down there and took care of that. Outside of that, everything else looks good. Pearson should be here at the end of the week or first part of next week to do some seal coating. And then they're gonna do their fall hydrant and flushing here soon. And then I know Jody wanted to talk about the pavilion out in Legion Field, the Legion Pavilion out in Legion Field.
Right, it was discussed at our Legion meeting last Monday, that us and the VFW would go halves, but we need an estimate on cost for needed repairs.
If I remember correctly, and just shooting from the hip here, because I've had lots of numbers go through over the last couple of years, but I wanted to say it was between the 5,000 and 7,000 range.
I know it's been discussed before, and
7 is where I think it was the number, but I did text Eric, he hasn't texted.
that's very doable, so.
But I want to say the roofing and everything that needed to be fixed to bring it back up to where it needed to be used was around 7,000. What I figured it was.
So this was fixing the building?
The pavilion out at Legion Field. There's a little pavilion thing it was donated by the American Legion.
Actually, the VFW.
It wasn't the VFW.
It was VFW, donated it.
From Wasika. So.
And we've got some money, and so does VFW. How about if I'll just go with them up to 10?
Okay.
Would that be, you think that'll cover it?
Oh, yes, yeah, that would cover,
All right.
that would cover the roof and any other structural issues that would be out there, and the guys should be able to take care of that. I wouldn't see why there would be an issue with that.
Okay.
The building's over there by the playground area, right?
Yeah, down on the south end of,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think the council has any concerns about the Legion donating the money. to
No.
pay for that, so. Yeah, I know it's one of the things that we've wanted to do and to take care of, but it's never been able to be done, but
As long as it gets some, as long as it's being used, I think we should,
Yeah.
keep it up. But if not, then
Is it leaking now, Tony?
the roof is not in great shape, but it's not, but it's one of those things that's always been at the bottom of the list because it's not one of the things that gets used on a very regular basis.
Right.
Like Jody said, when there's a huge tournament out there or there's a lot of games going on, it does get used. But it's, it is on the lower thing, but yeah. So.
I'd like to recommend that it be a metal roof.
Well, and if it's 10, it probably could be close.
Actually,
to
the
that.
prices now for a steel roof are not that much different than asphalt.
Yeah, we can look into it. Would you prefer me to Eric get a couple different estimates and just send them to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jody.
I've got a question on that project's completed. What new city signs were put up?
The city signs.
welcome.
Welcome
to
to
Richland.
Richland.
All the new signs outside of town?
Have you driven past town?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
all
I
new.
have, but I haven't seen them.
And where the old ones
You're not
were.
talking the ones that are like the big ones down there.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
to.
They're all
You gotta
brand
be
new.
kidding.
And they're all brand
Yeah.
new.
No, they're all new.
All three of them, right?
3 of them.
Okay,
They look like the one in the city park, except they're bigger.
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to pay attention.
Can't be talking on your phone when you drive it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
We need to approve the street maintenance report.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Unfinished business, garbage, recycling.
So I put the final touches on the RFP for the garbage and recycling contract. I was fairly sure that I was okay with it, but I did shoot it off to our attorney to take a look at it. He did look it over and said everything he was happy with the way that it looks. So I just need final approval from the council, and then I told the companies that it was gonna be to them by August 9th, so I'll actually post it to our website by August 9th.
You said company, not company.
Companies. And then, so it'll automatically go to Thompson's and Waste Management, and then obviously any other company that
Mhm.
chooses to bid on it would be able to bid on it as well. Proposals are due to us November 15th at the latest. And then we would obviously award that at budget time. So,
Perfect. Thank you, Tony.
What's the time length of the contract?
3 years, I think, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
I was gonna do 5 at first, but I thought that was too long for us to negotiate for, so.
3 sounds better.
Yes. Okay, we don't need any action on that, just
I need
information.
I need
Oh, do you?
approval, yeah.
Okay. We have a motion
So moved.
to approve the RFP.
RFP.
Okay. You second? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, on to new business. June check register. Anybody have any questions? Anything they noticed? They have-
Was yours on the financials or check registry?
Financial.
Check register, there's a few that just don't have descriptions
Yeah.
on it. Like talking water treatment. I'm assuming
That's
it's about-
chemical to the water plant,
Allen Tree Medical,
that'd be ambulance supplies,
okay, Central Farm Services.
that'd be gas or fuel.
Okay.
I do have one. I noticed there was a couple of computer costs and stuff like that. Is that money taken out of the budgeted amount that we had in some of the departments for computer expenses? Or is that over and above?
Explain to me, show me a chart so that I can
Yeah.
just see what you're talking about.
Are you looking at this one here? Review Provider Solutions, computer expenses.
It was like $2,000. I think it could have been police computer, I think.
Oh, that was for the laptop, for the laptop that they bought.
But is that over and above what was budgeted, or is that included?
It was, but it was covered by the grant and then the emergency service grant, so.
The charges to State Bank of New Richland of like,
So those are, yeah,
like a reconciliation of accounts?
So they're basically, so like if we have a check that gets returned or something like that, it has to be expensed out.
Okay.
And so there's no vendor for a return check, so it's the State Bank in New Richland, so that's why it shows there. So like the 154.38 and the 55.60, I know are return checks. And then the 30 cents and the 5 cents are from some sort of fee from either utility billing or something else. But that's why that comes in there.
You've got a cost of $48.70 for April building inspections. Is that covered by people paying for those inspections? We're not paying for them without getting reimbursed.
Permit.
Okay, just want to share.
One last one, the Amazon charges, what department are they going to, do you know, or not
Not
really?
without knowing what it was for. I'm slowly working with Heather to try to
No, I know, I just,
label them more frequently or effectively.
With the PD promotion, just getting ready for night unite
Yep.
stuff, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Did you actually write a check out for zero to emergency auto attack?
No, so what happened was,
It's like a void check.
yeah,
it's a void.
so I hate the software we're using. It has a really bad issue of occasionally doing weird things. And so there was one batch of checks that we went to print that was printed in June. This is June. Yeah, these are June checks.
Mhm.
Printed in June, but it printed an April 30th check date
Yeah.
on the checks. So all of our checks say they have to be cashed within 30 days or they're void. And so that was a reissued check.
Gotcha.
So that's what that was.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now that I see both entries.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the checks.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion for Tony? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. June financials.
I'm looking for the one that I was gonna ask.
You said page 3. That's all I remember.
Oh, other pay, 3661. What was that for?
Under elections. Right?
No, the ambulance. The bottom of page 3. It's June column.
Other pay is the normal pay.
Oh, okay.
So that's just how it was, has always been coded. So we have 3 pay functions for the ambulance. One is director salary, one is, medical training salary, and one is other pay. Other pay is just the normal,
Like volunteers.
everybody volunteer,
Okay.
that's the pay for.
I was wondering, because I thought it was, I'm not saying such a big amount, but it was that big, it probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And that's just the way that it was originally quoted, so that's just, because
You kept doing that.
it's, so the state of Minnesota has the way that they code it's just it's a general code document. And so there's only like 10 numbers that can be used for wages and salaries, and there's only this many that can be used for that, and so that's why it's set up that way.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the financials.
Motion to approve the financials.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Down to miscellaneous.
I apologize, I made an error. This meeting is actually on the 19th, Monday, August 19th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. So
Okay.
the county wanted to bring everybody together just to talk about the cannabis legislation and kind of, I think what they're hoping for is to get us all on the same page as far as just ordinances and maybe how we're gonna zone it and things like that. So they've invited City of New Richland, Janesville, Waldorf, just to an informational meeting. So I will be on vacation, so I will not be able to attend. Janda is going to be gone as well, so if there's anybody that's able to attend, it would be nice if somebody would be able to show up.
What's the date?
19th.
August?
August 19th.
6:30.
At the East
I
End.
can't make it.
Yeah,
If
so
I can log in.
I'm gonna
though.
talk to Michael and ask him if they can record it. And just that we have options. And I'm gonna,
What day of the week is it?
Monday.
Monday.
And I'm assuming that since we all have the same attorney. I'm assuming our attorney probably will be at that meeting as well. So I'll discuss it with him.
Okay, thank you. Administrators report.
I was forwarded our auditor's report to S&P Global. We're on that 3-year look back because of the issue with the care center. And I looked back to try to find in my notes, I want to say we were at a B+, and now we're at an A-, so I think we increased our bond rating, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's good.
I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure. I did get the utility rate study from Abdo, and it was like $16,000, so waiting for Minnesota so the COG to come back. I'm working on a council and mayor pay study just to see who's getting paid per diem on per meeting basis, who's getting paid monthly, who's getting paid annually, just to try to figure out what that's doing. Beginning the renewal of our workers' compensation policy, finished the RFP for the single hauler contract. Our LGA for $270,000 was just deposited last week. Continuing to monitor the EMS service package. I have almost the whole entire USDA grant stuff done. Shooting for August 1st deadline for that. Employee anniversaries, Drew Gerard, police officer, will be here 1 year. Braden will celebrate 3 years here in August. And then birthdays, Sierra Miskina lifeguard at the lake on the 9th, and Mike Abbott from maintenance on the 11th. And that's what I have for.
Okay. Do we
Did
have?
any of the LELS stuff start yet, or probably next
I haven't
month?
heard back from, they said they wanted to talk, and I said, yep, give me a date, and I haven't heard from them.
You mentioned the dollar amount of 16,000 for that utility rate. What's,
To review
To
our,
review the
it
utilities.
costs us that much for the
That's what they
study?
want to charge us, to tell us what
Okay.
to charge their customers.
I thought you were gonna say, what's 16,000 got to do with the utility rate amount?
that's your new bill.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the administrators report.
I move to accept the city administrator's report.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Mayor and council comments? Anything from anyone? I have two things. One is, if you haven't had a chance to look at this, there's some good information, and Shell, you should probably look at it too. Did you get one? Because they do talk about budgeting for and where to get money and funding, grants, all kinds of things for an aging water infrastructure, and that's what we have. So we have a lot of expenses coming up, and we hope that what Shell does in the meantime to keep things working, nothing else goes wrong. But I think we're doing all the things that we can do, but this is a good article in here. And there's also a good article from the city manager from Janesville in here also. So it's good information to read, so you can stay updated on what's happening in Minnesota. And the final thing is, all good things must come to an end sometimes. And so I'm submitting my resignation as mayor due to health issues and moving closer to my family, which I'll be doing next week. So a couple things: you need to think about someone who you want to be interim mayor for the next 4 months or so. And also, since I serve on the Care Center board, we probably should elect someone to take that position as well.
Yeah, so I guess what I would like,
Here's
I need a motion to accept Lauren's resignation. And then we'll need to either choose to appoint somebody tonight, or we can do that at a different meeting, or, Janet is the deputy mayor, so we can move forward to that, or we can appoint somebody to immediately tonight to serve in that spot, and then we can draft a resolution of a council opening for the next meeting and start moving that process forward as well. Whatever the council chooses to do.
First motion to accept Lauren's resignation.
A second?
Reluctantly second.
Any more discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so what's your pleasure for,
Question on discussion, does the deputy mayor have any objections if she,
I don't have an objection to it, but if somebody else is wanting to as well, that's fine too. But I have no problem doing that for the next 4 months.
you probably need another check signer
Right.
also.
as far as discussion, I have no objections if she wishes to take your place for the next 4 months. That's my part of
Is that a motion?
discussion. It's not, that's part of kind of a discussion. If there's
Okay.
anything, if any of the other two members wanted to raise their hand and say, hey, you want to do it?
If you make a motion, I'll second it.
Yeah, make a motion.
I move to appoint Janda as from deputy mayor, or how would you say that? again?
Interim mayor.
Interim mayor
Yep.
position.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Yeah.
With Tony in charge, it's an easy job. He does an excellent job, so.
So does it allow you then to post?
So what'll happen
Or do you
now
need-
is that on, at the next meeting, there will be since Janda has been appointed to the mayor spot, that forces in the vacancy for her council position. So there'll be a resolution, that you guys will adopt declaring a vacancy of her council spot. And then, once that resolution is adopted, we will be able to allow letters of interest from people. And then we can make an appointment to her, council spot. So that is how we will proceed from there.
Okay.
So, other than that, I don't think there's any other business.
So, yeah.
I'll be the second signer. if you need it.
Oh, yeah, that is something that you should probably attend. Jody did say that he's in town quite a bit, so it would be nice since Janda does work out of town and Jody is in town for the most part, most of the day. I would appreciate it if Jody would be available.
Motion needed or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, there needs to be.
I'll make a motion that we make Jody the second signer for any financial stuff.
Okay,
Second.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Jody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got writer's cramp.
Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's not many.
Yeah.
You have the care center
Well, like I
checks
said,
to sign too. Okay,
Here in the
any
morning
other
or in the
business
afternoon.
before the council? Need a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is, our meeting is adjourned at 7:23.